guys, today is part 2 to making the hood fit on a H2b turbo CRX. I finally got my third set. I had 2 sets on the Integra. If you remember previous videos, I had 2 sets for the hood to clear. The 2 sets on the CRX wouldn't clear. It was still hitting the valve cover by a good, ½ inch, maybe more. I'm not 100%. I didn't really measure, but so I ordered an extra set of hood spacers. So this is attempt number 2 at trying to get the hood to pretty much clear and shut. So I'm on my way to Lowe's right now because I got to get longer bolts to bolt the spacers to the hood and the hood to the car, all that. So we'll be back when we get to Lowe's and we'll see what we can't find. The Integra had threaded rod, and a threaded rod that was threaded into the hood, and then a nut at the end. It wasn't a bad idea. So if I can't find actual bolts, I'm hoping to find actual bolts, but the threaded rod is actually a lot easier when installing hood spacers, or multiple sets of hood spacers anyways. So when we get to Lowe's, we'll see what we find, and we'll get right back with you. Alright, so we just got out of Lowe's. I got some freaking bolts. That one's not the open one. Hold on a second. The thread pitch that matched was, if it'll focus, is M6 by 1. Right there. M6 by 1. That's the thread pitch that matched the bolt that came with the kit, which I screwed into the hood before I left, just to be sure that I was going to come here and get the right shit. And as you see, boom, fits the whole thing. So now we get to go home. I have to take off the wastegate and the up pipe and install the hood spacers in the hood. And the reason I have to take that stuff off is because I need to make sure the hood's going to shut all the way without hitting the motor, without hitting the up pipe, and all that fancy stuff right off the bat. So we're going to go, well, first I'm going to run to McDonald's to get my kids some food real quick, and then I'm going to be on my way home, and we're going to get this hood mounted up and get it finished. Hopefully we're going to get it finished, but you never know. So be right back. Alright, so we got 3 sets of hood spacers, and it still hits. Oh man, it hits a lot. Like, it's not like it'll take a lot to fucking clear that motor. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't get it. How there's a guy on my Facebook who has the same swap and everything. See, it's really close on that side, but over here, it's just... So I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I've debated cutting a hole for the fucking, so the motor will just stick through it, but I don't like that. I think it looks shitty. I don't want to do that at all. So I don't know. I'm at a loss. I did the bumper yesterday. I didn't do a video on it because I figured it was kind of self-explanatory. Cut it to whatever length that you want. and screw it to the bumper. I mean, it's not anything that I figured would even be a viewable video, so I just decided just to pull the trigger and just do it without recording anything. Now we got this dilemma. It kind of looks like a face, doesn't it? 2 eyes and a mouth. Oh man, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. Since it's still hitting the valve cover, and it's not like it's hitting a little bit, it's hitting a bit. So I need to sit here, stare at this for a while, and brainstorm and see. Because I mean, I'm not running like 5 sets of spacers. That's just retarded. And I don't really want to cut this hood up, because that's just even more retarded. I hate when I see motors sticking out of the hood and everything. It just looks tacky as shit. So I gotta figure this out. So I'm gonna brainstorm a little bit, and I'll come back when I figure something else out. So it's this next day. We're back in the garage again. I got the hood off of the car. I'm gonna start cutting this webbing out. Maybe adding a few washers, see if we can get this hood to line up. Today I also got my aerodynamics hood pin kit, hood latch kit, whatever. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all this webbing. I mean, I'm going to go up here, and then go straight across this line, and then go straight across in the front, like up here. You know, pretty much all the shit in the center is going. It's got to go. So we're going to get this hood to fit without cutting a huge hole in the freaking center and letting the valve cover poke out. Like I said, I don't like it. So we're gonna make this happen without doing that. So I'm gonna cut this out real quick. I was gonna do a time lapse of me cutting it, but it's gonna take a while. I'm gonna go through probably 2 discs doing it. So I'm just gonna get it done, and then I'll turn the camera back on once it's finished. So I'll be right back. After fighting with I don't know if you ever try to put 3 sets of hood spins on, or hood spacers, or even 2 sets. It's a real pain in the ass when it's just you doing it and the bolts are super long. You gotta have the hood like at like almost a straight angle to get them to get them in. I cut the hood. There's all the framing, pretty much everything, even the hood prop spot's gone. And this is what we got. It is not perfect, but it's shut. It's a little higher on this side than it is on this side, but I have an idea. The hood, the aero latch hood spacer kit has like a little rubber grommet that the hood essentially sits on. Basically, when you drop the hood down, it'll sit on those rubber grommets on each side. So if I adjust those just a tad bit higher, because it's still hitting the valve cover just slightly, that's why it's up. But if I adjust it to where it'll lift the hood up to where it's not touching the valve cover and it's even on both sides, it'll look good, and I'll be satisfied with that. I mean, it's not going to be like perfect flush fitment all the way through, but it's an uphill battle, and I just don't have the energy nor the patience for this anymore, because I'm not cutting a huge hole in the hood. I've mentioned that before. I don't like the way it looks. It looks like shit. Not digging at anybody that did that. I mean, that is the easiest way to do it, and I probably should have done that, but I just don't, I don't like the way it looks. I can't stand to look at that. Plus, if I drive the car and I get caught out in the rain, there goes everything's getting soaked. So now we know. The hood is on. It's ridiculous looking, but I mean it's shut for the most part. I forgot to show you guys, I did the switch install. I did that the other day, kind of on my own. It turned out real nice, covered up the vents. I used the same material that I used for the what you call it, some white stuff on there. I don't know what that is. I gotta clean that up. But I used the same FPR board that I use for the front bumper. I've been doing a lot of stuff off camera just because the views aren't really that high right now, so I'm kind of calming down on recording stuff, and I'm just trying to get this car done. I figure once the car's running and it goes for a tune and stuff like that, maybe the views will go up, hopefully. But as long as the views are gonna stay lower, I'm not gonna record as much, but I'm still gonna record as much as I possibly can. I'm probably gonna do the hood pins in this video also, just because this video I really didn't get too in depth of making the hood fit or anything. So I'm gonna start setting up and see where I'm gonna put these hood pins, and I'm gonna turn it back on and we'll get this hood pin install done. Be right back. I figured out where I want them. Put them right there. I had to chop a little bit off of the headlight bracket, just to get that through. And you see that one's a little crooked. We're gonna fix that in a little bit. But that's where they're gonna be at. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a dab of grease on the tip here, and then I'm gonna close the hood, and it's gonna leave a grease indent or a grease mark, whatever, on the underside of the hood on both sides. And then I'm going to drill from the bottom, drill that hole out until it's pretty much as big as this is, and then from there we'll get there, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do from there. So let me get these holes drilled with the grease and all that bullshit, and I'll be right back. Alright, now that you got your holes drilled out and you got the hood shut, you're going to line up your aero latch. You're going to have it angled the way, of course, that you want. I'm going to kind of go with the line on the hood on each side, so it goes straight with that line. Then what I'm going to do, since it's a cheaper kit, I'm basically just going to trace the bottom. I'm going to go around the bottom with a Sharpie, and then I'm going to cut that out. Drop that bad son bitch in there, and we'll see if this turns out any good. This is my first time doing these, so I'm not like no professional at doing these. But we're gonna give it a fucking whirl, and fingers crossed, because I can't put a hood latch on this. I can't put the T-bar or whatever. I can't put it on there. So it's either this or I'm screwed. So let me get this traced, and I'm going to cut it out, and I'm going to sink these down in there and see if I'm doing everything right so far. I got 3% on my battery, so I got to make this quick. I got the hood pins done after fighting with them. Because of the angle of the hood, the pins wouldn't line up with the actual pin. So what I basically had to do, as you see, I had to kind of bend the pin slightly this way on the tip, just to get it to line up, and it lines up. This side pretty much the same. It all lines up. This sticks a little bit, but it's gonna do the job of keeping the hood from flying up. So that's it for this video, guys. Sorry it wasn't too informative. When it comes down to this kind of shit, it's like hit or miss if it's gonna work for me or not. So like I was saying in the last clip, my phone was dying, so I had to wait, charge, and film just a quick little outro. I ended up cutting the hood, the hole for the hood for the exhaust, and cutting the exhaust. Looks a little rough right now until I make the plate, the cover plate that goes. It kind of makes it look nice, but right there it is. Hood pins are all in. The hole's a bit big, which doesn't matter because the plate that I'm making is going to cover all that anyways. And sticks up a good amount, just perfect amount. So that's it for now. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned. We're getting there. Peace.